former Minister of State for Defence, Senator Obanikoro, has told the Federal High Court in Lagos that the sum of 4.7 billion naira, which he received from the Office of the National Security Advisor, the NSA, cannot be described as illicit funds. Senator Obanikoro also said that he is bothered that clandestine operations of the National Security Advisor are described as illicit. He made these statements while continuing his testimony as the fifth prosecution witness in the case against the former governor of Ekiti State, Mr. Ayodele Fayose. Our judiciary correspondent, Shola Shoyele, reports.
At the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos, former Minister of State for Defence, Senator Obanikoro, continued his testimony from where he stopped the day before in the trial of former governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose. While answering questions under cross-examination, Senator Obanikoro shed more light on the funds he received from the then National Security Advisor, Colonel Sambo Dasuki. Senator Obanikoro told the court that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, investigated him for being privy to illicit transfer of funds. He said he was, however, bothered that funds received from the NSA for security purposes could be described as illicit. He described the functions of the NSA to include the coordination of all security agencies in the country and noted that some of the operations are usually not documented, as happened in the instant case. Senator Obanikoro, who once served as a commissioner in Lagos State, also told the court that while discharging some of the functions of his office, he had cause to interface with various security agencies, one of which was Silver McNamara, said to be owned by security operative Karim Taiwo. He said that the outfit performed creditably well, and this was why he recommended it to the then NSA. Senator Obanikoro also said that after the company agreed to work with the NSA for security purposes, he was saddled with supervising the government funds in the accounts of the company. It was this account that housed the sum of 4.7 billion naira, out of which he was instructed to hand over 1.2 billion naira to former Governor Ayodele Fayose for the purpose of funding his governorship campaign back in 2014. Mr. Fayose is on trial for allegedly receiving and keeping the 1.2 billion naira and another $5 million. The EFCC says the monies are proceeds of unlawful activities and constitute an offense contrary to the Money Laundering Act, an offense for which Mr. Fayose has pleaded not guilty. The trial continues on Wednesday, the 6th of February. Shola Shoyele, Channels Television News.
For the stories now, some internally displaced persons have staged a protest in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, today. The protesters, comprising women and children from Kukawa and Guzamala local government areas, took to the streets from the Teachers Village IDP camp to Mala Kachala bypass by up to Bukuntuku roundabout before they were intercepted by the police. The displaced persons who grounded vehicular movement for several hours lament neglect and hunger as they ask government to come to their aid. Suspected armed bandits have reportedly killed the elder sister of the lawmaker representing Zamfara Central Senatorial District, Senator Kabiru Marafa. Haja Saadatu Marafa was said to have been killed in Ruwan Bori community in Gusau local government area of the state after the bandits stormed their home in the early hours of today. The bandits were also said to have abducted the woman's husband as well as her brother after killing her. This was confirmed by the spokesperson of the senator, who told Channels Television that the bandits invaded two communities in the area wielding dangerous weapons. They were also said to have invaded another community where they set houses ablaze and abducted numerous people. The police in Zamfara State is yet to make a comment on the incident. Normalcy has returned to the Lagos axis of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway after the long hours of gridlock caused by two fallen containers. Reprieve came to motorists after over 18 hours of traffic congestion. Channels Television gathered that the two fallen containers were removed by a joint effort of the FRSC, LASMA, VIO and the Ogun traffic managers. More stories now. The Enugu Electricity Distribution Company has called on the judicial sector and law enforcement agencies in Nigeria to partner the company on prosecution of energy theft, applied offences and industry-related litigation. The DISCO was speaking at the judges' seminar themed "The Role of Courts and Other Stakeholders in Mitigating and Eliminating Electricity Theft." According to the company Chief Executive Director, the incessant vandalism of transformers in the last 6 months, illegal connection and power theft have continued to affect its output and how the legitimate consumers are served.
The management and staff of the Enugu Electricity Distribution Company, members of the judiciary, representatives of the enforcement agencies, amongst others, are here to discuss the role of court and other stakeholders in mitigating and eliminating electricity theft in the region and beyond.
I'd like to hide under the existing protocol.
This gathering has become necessary with the rate of commercial loss recorded by the company, which has become a cause of concern.
You have people connected who shouldn't be connected. So you have illegal connections, you have fake disconnections, you have reconnections that shouldn't be done and are not declared. You have meter and meter reading fraud. Those some done internally and some done by the customers. You have meter bypass, meter tampering, all manner of illegal activities that go around metering.
The representative of the Chief Executive Director of the EEDC believes that all hands must be on deck and a law in place to tackle the menace.
We therefore request the help of the judiciary to help fast-track cases involving energy theft and to ensure that justice is done and seen to be done. There is need for the law enforcement agencies to ensure prompt arrest, investigation, and prosecution of offenders.
Mindful of the damage and effect of power theft on the infrastructural development of the country, a chief judge of the Federal High Court calls on all judges to be abreast of the happenings in the energy sector.
The judiciary and law enforcement officers are glad to join hands with stakeholders like the Enugu discourse and other discourse to ensure that this essential commodity is available to all and that investment in the sector is well protected within the ambit of the law.
The company is also making a commitment to the safety of all involved in the sector and those in the field, ensuring compliance.
In every work environment we find ourselves, there must be potential hazards. And in order to be free from accidents, we must put all the hazards under control.
Energy users are also encouraged to pay up all arrears and report any illegal activities for improved services to all.
The first session of the 2019 Social Media Week Lagos kicks off with the announcement from the United Bank for Africa that its chat banker icon, Leo, described as the first artificial intelligence-powered chatbot, as you would have a robot, in Africa, now boasts of over 1 million users.
The first session of the 2019 Social Media Week Lagos kicks off with the announcement from the United Bank for Africa that its chat banker icon, Leo, described as the first artificial intelligence-powered chatbot in Africa, now boasts of over 1 million users. In its 12 months of existence, Leo is said to have offered these over 1 million users access to account opening, loan applications, account balance checking, check confirmation, bill payment, account freezing, and instant notifications in 17 African countries, conducted by the multilingual chatbot Leo through 70 million conversations online.
We have developed this particular bot to be able to speak English, speak French, and speak Portuguese across the countries where we have him. And just about 2 weeks ago, we also added Swahili, and we're going to be adding Yoruba and all the local languages.
Out at the exhibition stand of the United Bank for Africa, one of Leo's new subscribers shares our experience.
I was quite impressed because my personal bank is UBA, and then I found it like it to be like really easy to do like transactions and everything. I just got to sign up for it, and then I think it was very nice. Yeah.
With banking moving digital, the United Bank for Africa promises a lot more.
The customers will opt in by themselves because they're going to see a lot of things that are found so easy on Leo. Like we just released the spend limits now, and Leo is going to help you in managing your spending. We just also released the savings option where Leo is going to help you in saving money and moving money from one account to the other. There's a lot more that is coming.
UBA's Leo, which is available on Facebook-owned WhatsApp, has 72% of its subscriber population between 18 and 34 years, while 5% is within 65 years and above. The management of the United Bank for Africa says it continues to look forward to connecting better with more customers.
All right, that's Leo, the chat bot. You're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, reaching you live from Lagos. Let's shift our gears now to business news with Kayode Okikiolu.
You First. First Bank.
Thank you, Kimba. The NMPC says it recorded a trading surplus of 2.06 billion naira for operations in November 2018, and this indicates a 116% increase over the 12.66 billion naira in previous month's deficit. The state oil firm, in the latest monthly report released today on its website, hints that the increased performance is attributed to improved efficiency in operations of its subsidiary, that's the Nigerian Petroleum Development Company. The November report, the 40th edition in the series, shows that NMPC also posted a total crude oil and gas sale of $668.57 million in November last year, which is 26.13% higher than the previous month, while crude oil export sales contributed $574.95 million. That's 86% of the transactions against $425 million contribution in October. And Lagos State Governor Mr. Akiumi Ambode has presented a budget of 852.13 billion naira to the Lagos State House of Assembly for the 2019 fiscal year. The spending plan, which is lower than the 1.046 trillion naira presented last year, has recurrent expenditure pegged at 389.56 billion naira, capital expenditure of 462.75 billion naira, with capital recurrent ratio pegged at 54 to 46.
We are happy to propose a year 2019 budget of 852.316 billion, including a deficit financing of 77 billion, which is expected to be sourced from internal loans and other sources. Consequently, the 2019 budget is projected to consolidate on the economic gains made so far by capitalizing on realistic budget-friendly programs and projects. The projected total revenue for year 2019 is 775.2 billion, of which 606.29 billion is expected to be generated internally. 168.9 billion is expected from federal reserves, federal transfers, while a total of 77 billion will be sourced through deficit financing within our medium-term expenditure framework.
Well, elsewhere, proceedings at the equities market remain positive for the third consecutive session, buoyed by investors' continued interest for Tier 1 bank stocks. Edidi Ongewang tells us more about today's performance.
Thank you, Kayode, and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Now, the all-share index is still crawling back to the 31,000 level after closing Tuesday's session up by a marginal 0.09% increase as investors maintain cautious trading. Just like in Monday's session, 4 out of the major sectors we track closed in the green, while the consumer goods counter ended negative. Now, still looking at the sectoral chart, the insurance sector tops the list up by 1.03%, followed by the oil and gas and industrial goods sector. Interestingly, big banks were top on the ladder in volume of trades, led by 49.24 million units of shares by GT Bank. In over 3,100 deals, a total of 190 million units of shares changed hands for about 3 billion naira in the close of today's session. And that's the stock market report. I'm Edidiong Iwang. Back to you, Kayode.
Thank you, Edidiong. It's more rally for U.S. markets as positive corporate earnings reports lift investors' sentiment. Well, let's find out how other major markets fared today. And that's business news for tonight. Thank you for watching. I am Kayode Okikiolu. It's now back to you, Kimba.
You first. First Bank.
Brilliant. Still ahead on the news at 10, Flying Eagles qualification for this year's FIFA Under-20 World Cup delayed after they were held to a goal.